Welcome to the Hollywood Haymaker review of Uncut Gems, the new Safdie brothers film starring Adam Sandler. I would describe it as like a slice of life film about a jeweler from New York. He has got his hands on this uncut rock that he thinks might be worth
$1 million.
$1 million or more. Yeah.
He has a jewelry store that has, the bulletproof door to even get through and get in. And the one thing you realize quick about the Adam Sandler character is that he's always busy on the phone, talking to someone, making a deal, trying to sell, trying to get this rock. Like within minutes, you realize that he's a busy guy, and it's just chaos. Like he pretty much this character is a character of chaos.
And the film is chaos. I mean, it has a pace like an action film. Even dialogue scenes, there's characters talking over each other, and it feels almost like a little bit unnerving just watching these guys. It's hard to just relax watching this movie.
It feels very New York.
Yeah.
It's just there's always people trying to do something.
And they sustain that through the whole film.
Howard is always making deals. He's always making bets. He's gambling. Mm-hmm. And he's out money. I mean, pretty much as the movie starts, you realize he owes people money. He's a swindler.
Right.
He's up, he's down, he wins, he loses, and he just plays. He loves it. He gets off on the fact that he's either making money or losing money. And you kind of learn like who he owes money to, which is kind of interesting. He has a family. He has a wife who they're like living together, partners, but they're talking about divorce and leaving. But they have kids together, and he also has the lady who works for him is also his mistress, girlfriend, kind of. Not even really mistress, because they actually do have a relationship. Adam Sandler's kind of already started his next life, while keeping his old life. Right. So I mean, this guy's juggling everything, and the movie is juggling everything. Like I'm sure, as we alluded to at the beginning, the fun I had in the movie, and I noticed in the first 15 minutes, is it's crazy. Like it's so busy. There's always something going on, and of course, every place he goes, he's being followed pretty much the whole movie because he owes a lot of money to a lot of people. Right. We don't know how much, but we
do know how much.
Does he say it fully?
Yeah, actually, he says he owes $100,000. The movie opens with him already in debt for $100,000. Yeah. Later, he mentions that he paid $100,000 for the rock.
Right, he does.
So I kind of put it together that perhaps he may have borrowed the money to initially buy the rock, and that's how he got in debt. So his plan was to borrow this money from these people, buy this rock, sell this rock for a profit, pay them back. There's a lot of characters in this film that are played by either actors you don't recognize or people who maybe aren't even really actors before this movie. And it really makes the film more believable, I think, when you can really believe these actors as these characters. Mm-hmm. I actually forgot I was watching a movie. Outside of Adam Sandler, you probably won't really recognize anybody.
Not Kevin Garnett.
Well, Garnett, but he plays himself.
But he plays himself. And Garnett also good at what he's doing in this.
Yeah, he's good.
Like, he's good. Like, for an athlete who I don't think has acted much.
I thought everybody was really good. I hear a lot of people really praising Adam Sandler for his performance.
Yeah.
I think he was good. I don't think I would give him an Academy Award for it.
Yeah, I know that's the big. As we record this, it's about a week after the Academy Award nominations, and one of the big things is that Adam Sandler didn't get a nomination.
I don't think he needs one. I think he's getting a little bit of extra recognition for this part because it's good for him. People are surprised that Adam Sandler can also do dramatic acting,
because we haven't seen it. How long's it been since Punch Drunk Love? 15 years.
Well, yeah, and even Punch Drunk Love to me is a comedy. It's a dark comedy, and
but he's actually somewhat pushing the boundaries for acting in that.
In that one, he's doing something different than what he's used to. It's a little more low key, a little more subtle type of humor, but it's still humor. This is, I think, that as far as I've seen, I think it's his first, what I would call, dramatic role.
Yeah, full tilt dramatic role by far. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, if we had never seen this actor before, and this was the first time we'd seen him on screen, we wouldn't go, "Wow, that's the best actor I've ever seen."
It's right, exactly.
But because we know him as Adam Sandler, I think a lot of people are surprised to see him do this well. But I mean, the guy's been an actor. That's his resume since the 90s. I hope he can do something like this. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's getting a 51% from audiences. So I went through and I read some of the reviews because I wanted to hear why people aren't liking it. I've heard two main type of reviews from people that didn't like it. And one was people complained that there was a lot of foul language in it.
Oh my gosh.
There is. It takes place in New York. It's meant to be kind of a gritty, realistic kind of film. And these are who these characters are. So, I don't know. For me, I wasn't really put off by that.
That's fine.
it's just part of who these characters are. But I think if you're going in and I think the fact that Adam Sandler is in it, a lot of people maybe are expecting something closer to what he's used to doing.
Maybe that's could be true.
So yeah, if you're used to seeing, funny, silly Adam Sandler films, and you go to this and there's all of a sudden all this language, I could see you being maybe a little bit.
Isn't that what he does in half of his movies? Some of his some of his movies are pretty R-rated.
Are they?
The other thing I would say is John watched the trailer to this. He went in cold, which is great, but I had seen the trailer. And in no way watching the trailer should you have assumed. If you did see the trailer, there's no way you should have assumed that you're going in to see a typical Adam Sandler movie.
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, if you got that, then you've made a large mistake of how you view how you viewed the trailer.
Yeah, so that was a big criticism that I felt the film got. I don't necessarily think it's a fair criticism. That's what this film is. Yes. That's who these characters are.
Correct.
The other criticism that I saw a lot of people give in the film is that they felt it was about nothing, that there was just no plot, nothing going on. And I got to disagree, and I wanted to talk just for a minute about what I felt the film was about. Because to me, a lot of films will function on the surface, meaning you watch it, and it is what it is. It's a guy trying to kill a bad guy or whatever it is, and you get to the end and everyone's happy or whatever. Some films work on kind of a subconscious level or a subliminal, or what do you call it, like under the surface.
Yeah.
And this film to me actually had both going. On the surface, it's a story about a guy trying to kind of get rich quick. We've seen that plot a lot of times.
Sure.
I really enjoyed it as kind of a slice of life film. I got to view some characters that I'm not used to seeing in movies. I mean, I'm not really familiar with like jewelry stores and like working with celebrities and stuff like that. It was interesting to me to watch Howard at work and see this kind of almost like behind the curtain of New York City, an area I've never seen, I've never been exposed to. So it was fun for me to see that, and I enjoyed the story and I enjoyed a lot of the characters that were in it. But I think that what the film is really about is it's trying to remind us that health. How people always say like at least you have your health,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
The message of the film is that don't suffer personal injury to obtain wealth. Throughout the course of this film, we're watching this guy. He's trying to get ahead by getting money, and over the course of the film, he's also losing relationships. He's hurting his own self physically.
Yep.
He's
hurting his business.
Yeah,
he's hurting everything
to try to get money. And actually, the opening scene of the movie is almost like a truncated version of that message. The opening scene, we actually see the Rock getting unearthed.
Oh yeah, right.
And we see the guy that was one of the guys that was on the team trying to get this Rock. He's got a leg injury and the bone is sticking out. It's very painful to look at. So we see that guy in his effort to get the Rock, to sell it to Sandler, got a serious injury, and now Sandler, over the course of possessing this Rock, is hurting himself in his life. And they talk. There's a line in the movie where somebody says, I think it's Sandler that says he's talking about that Rock, and he says that when you look into those jewels, some people think you can see the whole universe in it.
Yep, that's a great line.
Yeah, it's basically saying, to some people, money is everything. The real universe is our own well-being. I think that's what it was about to me. So to those that say that there's not a story there, I felt there was a lot going on.
Yeah, and I could see why. I could see why many people some people wouldn't like this movie because of. I think going back again to the beginning part of it is the unsettling nature of the film. I mean, because it's busy, it's loud, it is kind of nonstop. It barely ever rests of the talking, the phone calls, the texts, the running into people, the city of New York, always loud and bustling. I could see that just being off-putting in general to people because it does get exhausting. I mean, I did get fairly exhausted towards the end. I thought the ending took a little too long to wrap up at points, but other than that, yeah, I agree with all your statements. I think it's great. Again, I mean, it's just a very good movie this year. I mean, it just is different. I like going and seeing something that is different.
Oh, absolutely.
It felt different. Like within minutes, it's different.
Yeah.
Like you can just feel it.
I get so bored and burnt out on the same Hollywood formula all the time. So it's always really refreshing to see something like an independent film where you don't know what's going to come next. And this film, it keeps you guessing all throughout. There's times where you think you know what's going to happen, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Right? You never know. And I thought it was really well written, and just great.
The last thing I'll say is A24, the studio, made it. They did Good Times with the Safdie brothers' previous film. This is kind of what they've been doing. They've been taking indie stuff, putting like $10, $15 million behind it, giving it some push into national mainstream media, and trying to get indie films that are different and new to like the mainstream audiences. And overall mainstream audiences, if I'll take a 50-50 split, as long as people are actually watching a movie like this, instead of, always spending millions of dollars on the same thing every single year that comes out. So, I'm excited.
I just hope that 50% that's not enjoying the film can maybe go in with a little more open mind.
That's it.
And
that's the tough part. But
yeah, because this is not a traditional Hollywood film,
right.
And you just got to open your mind to something new,
right? And so I think from both of us, see Uncut Gems if it's still playing around you. I know it's still kind of making the circuit in theaters right now. If not, I'm sure it'll be on DVD in a couple months. But yeah, definitely check out Uncut Gems.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.